The sun bled into the horizon, staining the streets of redstone gold and crimson. Dust drifted like ghosts between wooden porches as townsfolk gathered, silent and tense. At the center stood Clara Bell, her boots sinking into the dirt, her hand resting steady on the worn grip of her revolver. Across from her, Jace Carver leaned against a hitching post, the outlaw's smirk carved deep beneath the shadow of his hat. His eyes, cold and amused, studied her like she was a puzzle he'd already solved. "Didn't think you'd come," he drawled, voice low and dangerous. Clara's jaw tightened. "I don't back down from what's mine." The crowd murmured respect, fear, curiosity, but none dared breathe too loud. A gust of wind carried the faint rattle of a saloon sign and the smell of gun oil. Somewhere, a church bell tolled. Jace straightened, brushing dust from his coat. "You sure you want this fight?" Her gaze met his, fierce and unflinching. "You took my father's cattle. You won't take my pride." For a heartbeat, time stopped. Then the sheriff's voice rang out, rough and weary. "Take it outside, both of you." Jace grinned. "Ladies first." Clara's eyes flashed. "Not tonight, cowboy." The canyon yawned wide beneath a violet sky, its walls echoing the hollow rhythm of hooves. Clara dismounted first, the air thick with dust and memory. Jace followed, his wounded pride hidden behind a calm too practiced to be real. The silence between them was heavier than any bullet. "You still think I killed your father?" he said quietly, eyes fixed on the dying light. Clara's reply was sharp as flint. "I don't think, I know." She drew first. The crack of her revolver split the air, scattering a flock of blackbirds. Jace dove for cover, returning fire in bursts that sparked off the canyon rock. Shouts of defiance turned to ragged breaths as both crouched low behind jagged stone, smoke rising between them like a ghost. When the gunfire ceased, only the wind spoke. Clara reloaded, her hands trembling, not from fear but fury. Jace's voice came through the haze, calm yet broken. "I never meant for any of it, Clara. I tried to save him." Her heart stumbled against disbelief. "Save him? You burned us down." He stepped into the open, hands raised, face etched with truth or desperation, she couldn't tell. The locket at her throat caught the last flicker of light. She didn't lower her gun. The night settled cold over the canyon, stars flickering like scattered embers. Clara and Jace sat across a small fire, its glow painting their faces in shifting gold. Smoke curled upward, carrying silence too thick to cut. Jace's arm bled through his sleeve, yet his gaze never left her. "I wasn't the enemy that night," he said finally. "Your father found out the sheriff was selling land to the railmen. They silenced him before I could stop it." Clara's breath caught, disbelief warring with memory. She remembered the sheriff's steady hand guiding her from the ashes, the sympathy in his eyes. Could all that kindness have been a mask? "You expect me to trust your word?" she asked, voice low, shaking. "I expect you to remember who taught you to shoot straight," he replied. "That was me, not him." The fire cracked between them, throwing sparks into the dark. Clara's anger faltered beneath the weight of his voice, a sound she once trusted more than prayer. If he was telling the truth, her father's death wasn't vengeance to claim, it was justice to uncover. She rose slowly, gun still in hand, but her eyes no longer saw Jace as the enemy. Morning bled into the streets of Redstone, painting the saloon windows with light the color of fire. Clara rode in beside Jace, their horses slow, deliberate, like judgment drawing near. The sheriff stood waiting in the dust, a rifle across his chest and a grin too calm for a guilty man. "So," he called, "the prodigal outlaw returns, with a bell girl no less. Thought I buried that family for good." Clara's heart pounded, fury sharpening every word. "You buried my father's truth." Now you'll answer for it." The sheriff raised his weapon, but Clara was faster. One clean shot struck his badge, spinning him backward into the dirt. His deputies scrambled for cover as Jace fired beside her, steady even through pain. Smoke coiled in the rising heat, the air thick with justice long delayed. When the echoes faded, only silence and sunlight remained. Jace staggered, blood darkening his coat, and Clara caught him before he fell. His smile was faint, almost peaceful. "Guess you didn't need saving after all." She looked toward the horizon, endless, open, and hers again. The dust settled over the fallen star on the sheriff's chest, and the town exhaled for the first time in years.